Prime factorization is where we take a number and we break it down into all of its prime factors. A lot of times we call this a factor tree, and that usually is a keyword that helps people remember what's going on. So pretty much you take a number like 30 and you're just going to break it down into two factors. And you really can pick any two factors. So I could say, all right, 5 times 6 gives me 30. And then I look to see, are either of these prime numbers? Well, remember, a prime number is a number that has factors of only itself and 1. Nothing else will go into it. So 5 is prime. That one's done, but 6 is not prime. We can break down a 6. 6 breaks down into 2 and 3. 2 is the only even prime number, so when we get to a 2, we know we're done with that branch. And then 3 is also prime. So we don't have anything else to break down. We got all our prime numbers, so our final prime factorization is we actually have to write this out. We start with the smallest prime number, so we have a 2 times a 3 times a 5. And that is the prime factorization of 30. What happens? 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30, so all your prime numbers will always multiply back up to what you started with. Alright, 32, when we break this down, again, you can break it down however you want. We could say, alright, 4 times 8 is 32. You also could pick a 2 and a 16. Maybe that's all you can break it down with. But we went with 4 and 8. So 4 is not prime, so we're going to keep breaking down the 4. That breaks down to a 2 times 2. Those are prime, so we're done with that. 8 will break down into a 2 times a 4. That 2 is prime, so we're done with that branch, but 4 still breaks down into a 2 times a 2. And those 2's are prime. So we got everything broken down. All we have are 2's, so how many 2's are we actually multiplying? There's 5 of them. So our prime factorization will be 2 to the 5th power. We'll use exponents to help keep your prime factorization nice and concise. Alright, 40, we can break 40 down into, I don't know, let's say 10 times 4. You also could use 8 times 5, 2 times 20. In the end, you get the exact same prime factorization regardless of how you start this out. So now I'll look at the 10. 10 is not prime, so we can break that down into 2 times 5. Then we say, oh yeah, 2 is prime and 5 is prime, so that one's done. This 4 over here needs to break down. 2 times 2 gives us 4, and those 2's are prime. So now our prime factorization, first start with your smallest prime number, which is 2, and we have 3 of them, so 2 to the 3rd power, times just that 5. So 2 to the 3rd power times 5. And that's your prime factorization of 40.